Picture this. You're climbing up a mountain. You've been planning this trip for years. The view from the top is going to be worth it. You just know it. But you've got a problem. You're carrying luggage, and I mean like actual luggage, overstuffed bags with the zippers like pulling at the seams, things falling out as you climb, and every step, something else hits the trail. You stop, you crouch down, you pick up the stuff, put it back into the bag, try and keep moving forward, and you're exhausted. You're barely moving. And the summit feels further away with every step. This is exactly what it looks like when a family tries to downsize their parents' home. Identical. They get completely buried in the stuff and they miss what actually matters. And today, I'm going to tell you the truth that nobody in real estate is willing to say out loud. And that is that the stuff isn't the problem. The timing is. I'm Ericka Hardwick, and I'm a real estate advisor in the Snohomish and Greater Seattle area. And I have sat with more families than I can count who have been blindsided by this moment. This video is for the person who wants to get ahead of it, get ahead of that moment before it becomes a crisis. Here's what we're going to cover: why people wait too long to downsize, why the stuff becomes a trap that stops all forward motion, and 3 things that you can actually do this weekend to start getting ahead of it. Let me tell you about a moment I've watched play out over and over again. And in fact, actually, I've been a part of this moment myself. My client, who is oftentimes just like me, somebody in her 50s, smart, successful, she's highly capable, walks into her parents' home. And maybe it's been a few months since she's really looked at it closely. And, looked really deeply, seen what is right there in front of her. And she goes quiet. She just kind of starts to take it all in. The gutters are pulling away from the roof. There's a water stain that she doesn't remember. The garage is so full that you can't get a car into it. And the inside of every surface, every drawer, every closet is packed with 40 to 50 years of accumulated life. The first thing she feels is disbelief. Like, how did I not see this? How long has it been like this? And then the next thing is this awful wave of guilt. Am I a bad daughter? Have I been too busy to not see this? Should I have seen this coming? Then there's a giant wave of overwhelm, like a wall of overwhelm, which looks more like, where do I even start? How can I help? What is going on here, and how do I get ahead of this? And honestly, sometimes that overwhelm tips into anger of couldn't somebody have helped me? Couldn't somebody have pointed this out? How did we get here? And here's the thing that I want you to hear. None of that spiral is your fault. It is just what happens inside of that moment. And the beautiful, painful irony is that your parent usually didn't downsize because they were waiting for the right time. They were waiting until it felt manageable. They thought that they had time, and they aren't seeing it either. The right time doesn't announce itself. So the stuff just accumulates. And now it's your weekend, and it's your garage, and it's now your problem. The family decides, we're doing this. We're going to sort through everything and figure out what has worth and what it's worth. And this is where we land on a spectrum. You start on this side of the spectrum where you are evaluating everything. You're evaluating that ceramic vase, and someone will say, wait, grandma always said that that was valuable. Then somebody else says, wait a minute, I remember that from whatever. And just like you were on the Antique Roadshow, we ended up in this spiral. And here's the truth that is stopping people cold is when you're in this part of that spectrum, when you're still deciding that everything has value, the truth is that there's very little market value. I know that's hard to hear, but the market value on that 1978 dining room set that is a lovely shade of oak is not going to garner really much more than pennies. And you're thinking, but we could sell it. We could make something on this. And here's the truth is that it's going to take you hours to sort through what's there, hours to photograph it, hours to price it, hours to determine the messaging for what it is that you're going to say about it, then determining where it is that you're going to market it at. And meanwhile, it's not really worth much of anything. Or you're going to reach out to somebody that is a stranger to you, a professional that maybe does estate sales, and they're going to take between 40 and 60% of every dollar that you make. So really, at the end of the day, it just isn't as valuable. So we move from that end of the spectrum into about the center, where you're starting to evaluate everything else that's there. And when you're in the midpoint of all of this, now it really starts to feel more and more just like stuff. And eventually you're going to reach the end of this spectrum. And that is where you decide that nothing is worth it at all. And you got to just keep moving. If you're already in this situation and you want the step-by-step guide to prepping a home for sale, what to tackle first, what to skip, what actually moves the needle, I put together a free seller's guide. It's actually called House to Hot Listing. And this is a great way for you to start deciding what to work on first and how to get moving in this process. Okay, so what should we actually do? Here's the step-by-step, play-by-play of what you can actually do this weekend. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a starting point. These are 3 things that you can do the next time you visit your parents' house and at least get the ball rolling. And that's what we need to do. We need to get started. So number 1 is I want you to do this little visualization when you go to your parents' house. Before you touch a single thing, I want you to walk through the house and ask yourself this one question. If I had to move every item in this house into my personal garage using only my weekends, what am I looking at? Because this is where you land. This, I'm telling you, this is exactly the scenario. This visualization is the truth. All of this stuff could land in your garage, and your weekends over the next 3 months will be spent moving it there. And so, yeah, that's going to feel scary and daunting, and really, I'm just trying to here to give you this piece of reality, this little punch that says, whoa, this is a lot and I need to get moving on it. Let it land. It's supposed to feel heavy. That weight, that feeling is information. Okay, now number 2. Ask what you're ready to release today. This is the conversation with your family. So this isn't just you asking it. I want you to actually have this conversation with your family where you just sit down with your parent and you say, is there anything in this house today that you'd be ready to let go of? Not everything. Not a big conversation about the future or that they have to leave or anything like that, but really just what is something that they're willing to let go of today. Start there. Start small and then do it the same again and again. Don't put it on a list. Immediately remove that item that they have said that they are willing to get rid of. Keep it simple and get it moving. Number 3 is start with a drawer. The biggest reason people don't start is because they get caught up in the feeling that everything is too big and too overwhelming. If we can start with 1 drawer, then 1 shelf, then 1 closet, the goal to the finish line kind of gets chunked down and we are able to move forward along that path. Remember our mountain at the beginning of the story? We are able to make it to base camp number 1. And then we can move on to base camp number 2. The ones who get stuck are the ones that spend too much time not getting into action. They get caught in analysis paralysis. And so I know I've been there. So let's come back to our mountain. You know what happens in that image that lives in my head as the person keeps climbing up the mountain and things start to fall away. You start to let go of things. At first you fight it, then you start to just handle it and deal with it. You're picking things up, you're just dealing with it. And then as the bags get lighter, you go, I got this. It gets easier and easier. It leads to relief, it leads to freedom, and you're gonna feel like you can finally take a deep breath. So here's my big takeaway. The stuff isn't the enemy. The waiting is. It's the timing, the emotional weight of the things your parents have collected for decades is real. And it is also the thing that will cost your family the most time, the most money, and the most peace of mind if you let it run the show. You have got to decide that the most valuable asset is the house. It's not what is sitting in that drawer. It is not the vase, the ceramic vase. It is the house. You need to start protecting that asset immediately because that is where all of the value is. It's not the ceramic vase. And if this resonated with you, if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. It might just be the nudge that saves their family a lot of grief. And until then, I'll catch you in the next video.